to Dave C, straight from the pit. Dave C here. Thought for today's episode, we could talk about the 1987 Big Boa. So released in 1987, this figure was directly linked to Rocky Balboa. And for those of you who don't know this story, which I'm sure many of you do as G.I. Joe fans, we all know the story by now, but I've never quite talked about it on my channel. So yeah, in 1986, Hasbro was trying to go ahead with a Rocky Balboa figure, and they had come out with card art already, as shown here. But it kind of fell through because Sylvester Stallone was already making toys for Coleco for the Rambo First Blood Part 2 toy line. Negotiations kind of fell through for that. Sometimes these things come down to copyrights and money, of course. Always money. G.I. Joe had success with Sergeant Slaughter and the Refrigerator Perry, two real-life characters already that they put into toy form. So in 1986, Order of Battle book, as shown here, Rocky appeared. And I remember getting this book at the corner store, riding my bike down there, my BMX, and getting a Pepsi and a Sweet Marie chocolate bar, and reading this book as I would read all my Joe books. But yeah, flipping the page and seeing this, I was a little bit baffled because I knew there was no Rocky figure already. And of course, I did like Sylvester Stallone and Rambo. He was one of my favorite characters. And I absolutely loved Rambo, First Blood Part 2 when it came out. The toys I didn't really get because I was more into G.I. Joe, so I kind of left those on the shelf. But yeah, we can read his file card here. It says Codename Rocky. File name, Rocky Balboa. Primary military specialty, personal combat instructor. Secondary military specialty, special services. Birthplace, Philadelphia, PA. Grade E5, enlisted reserves. And you guys can pause this and read it if you want. I'm not going to go through it all. But it's right from the Rocky movie. The character is the same. And here's an excerpt memo from Brigadier General Abernathy, codename Hawk. So this is what General Hawk says. So I will read this one. He's one of the best there is with his fists, and nobody can touch him with puzzle sticks. But that's not the reason I want him to train the Joes. Anybody can teach technique. I want the Joes to see what it is to take a beating and come back fighting. To stand up and take everything the other guy's got to give. That's worth more than a tip on how to perfect your right hook. So yeah, Herb Trimpe did this art. And that's great that Herb was involved with this, because this is a bit of G.I. Joe lore. And Herb Trimpe is one of my favorite artists. He's passed away now, but he was one of my favorite Marvel artists for G.I. Joe. And this was retracted from the G.I. Joe Order of Battle 1 month later in the Cobra edition, number 3, Order of Battle. And you can see here on the last page, retraction. The character of Rocky Balboa, codenamed Rocky, was incorrectly included as a member of G.I. Joe in the G.I. Joe Order of Battle, issue number 2. On page 10, Rocky is not and has never been a member of G.I. Joe. And I did get this book as well back then in 86. So when I went all the way through it and found that, I was like, oh, well, that's kind of interesting. And again, I didn't really know that they were actually going to make a figure. I thought maybe they just put it in the book, in the comic, just to have another G.I. Joe, and they were just kind of goofing around or whatever. But so yeah, that was the proof back then that they were going to do it, and never did. And I've read a little bit about it as well, and it says that Bill Merkline actually had the sculpt already done for Rocky. They had to kind of pivot on it when they couldn't get the rights to Rocky and Sylvester Stallone. And what they ended up doing was creating this figure out of it. So they changed the head sculpt, and they put two large straps with spikes going down the front. And that's about it. So this kind of is the Rocky figure that we didn't get. And instead they made a Cobra trainer out of it. And that's one story I've read. The other story is that this figure here was supposed to be Rocky Balboa's nemesis, a boxer that he would fight. So if you guys maybe know maybe a little bit more about it, if there's another story or not, or which one you can clarify with, you can leave that in the comments for me so other people can read about it. But it's definitely an interesting story, and I'm kind of enjoying doing this video. Here is the actual card art for that from 1987. It says G.I. Joe, Cobra Enemy, codename Big Boa, Cobra Trainer. Hector Greedo art. And you can see here, it has a stand and the boxing bag. This says Joe on it. And it's got the digital explosion, as it should, from 1987. And here's the file card. And we can see, flip it around here, and we can see if the punching bag's on it. And there it is there. It's kind of torn a bit. But you can see it says Joe on it. Sometimes I like flipping these around, because you can see the color that was behind the figure as well. So you got a dark blue there. Or kind of a funny kind of blue. Like a Maple Leafs blue or something. But anyway, it says codename Big Boa, Cobra Trainer. File name unknown. Big Boa kicks open the Cobra barracks door at around 0500 and makes everyone do the low crawl up the mountain while pushing a bowling ball with their noses. Then it's a 30-kilometer run through the bramble thickets, more push-ups than you know about, and a 3-kilometer swim upstream with a flak jacket and helmet. After breakfast, he starts with the hard stuff. Here's what G.I. Joe designer Ron Rudat had to say about Big Boa.
I think the idea from that one came from a movie, The Beastmaster. He was running through a tunnel, and this bad guy was given some kind of worm or something they put in his ear, and he just went berserk. So they put this helmet on his head, locked it in. I think he had crisscross on him, and he would go after whoever's in that tunnel and kill him or whatever. I think that's basically what he was supposed to be.
And here's a better look at the figure and accessories. Here's what he came with, as I mentioned. Boxing bag, which says Joe on it. Came with these boxing gloves with Cobra logos. You can see there a white Cobra logo with red gloves. And there's his head sculpt. Looks kind of menacing. Like that guy from Beastmaster that Ron was just talking about. He's got an air hose there. Some crazy red eye hole slits. As well as those slits on the top of his head. He's got no shirt on, but he's cut. Some big, huge, gigantic guy. And like I said, Merkline said that this was Rocky's chest and arms. And that's why he looks like that. But I don't know 100%, but that's one of the reports on that. And there's his legs. Pretty muscular with the blue. He's got just black boots with some kind of futuristic red padding on the side there. And the back of his helmet has spikes on it. And there are the spikes too, there, going across his back, that Merkline said he added to the sculpt to make it a different character. I had it back in '87. It's one of the first figures I got that year. And I got him because it said Cobra Trainer. And I thought it would be a pretty cool idea to have him to train all these guys. I still did have some blue shirts back then, and of course I had the Cobra Viper as well that was released in '86 for him to train. But yeah, I thought he'd be a great pickup, and added him to my collection back then. Rocky IV was a great film. I remember seeing it in the theater that year. It was totally a Cold War film. I remember the advertisement was Rocky IV, the War. And it showcased the USSR against the United States with Rocky against that Dolph Lundgren, big Russian guy, of course. And Rocky defeats him in Russia while training there as well. And I thought I would include one thing on here before I go. Just a little clip from one of the newer Rocky movies that I really enjoy. And I actually had a conversation like this with my son a couple years ago. And I think he took a lot from it. Sometimes when you're a father, you just have to be a father. And you got to tell the truth. And it was one of those moments when I sort of just had to say something to him. And it worked. So, but anyway, this one always gets me going emotionally. And these old Rocky movies and Rambo movies tend to do that to me. Especially the Rambo theme from First Blood. The opening there, that always gets me teary-eyed. But yeah, let's start this clip now.
You're doing good. You're enjoying everything, all right? Excuse me. How you doing? Glad you come by.
Can I talk with you?
Sure.
Can we do it outside? This is gonna be worse than ever.
It don't have to be.
No, sure it does.
Why? You got a lot going on, kid.
Oh, what, my last name? That's the reason I got a decent job. That's the reason why people deal with me in the first place. Now I start to get a little ahead. I start to get a little something for myself. And this happens. Now I'm asking you as a favor not to go through with this, okay? This is only gonna end up bad for you, and it's gonna end up bad for me.
You think I'm hurting you?
Yeah, in a way you are.
That's the last thing I ever wanted to do.
I know that's not what you want to do, but that's just the way that it is. Don't you care what people think? Doesn't it bother you that people are making you out to be a joke and that I'm going to be included in that? Do you think that's right? Do you?
You ain't gonna believe this. But you used to fit right here. I'd hold you up to say to your mother, this kid's gonna be the best kid in the world. This kid's gonna be somebody better than anybody ever knew. And you grew up good and wonderful. It was great just watching you every day. It was like a privilege. Then the time come for you to be your own man and take on the world, and you did. But somewhere along the line, you changed. You stopped being you. You let people stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. And when things got hard, you started looking for something to blame. Like a big shadow. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that. I'm always gonna love you no matter what. No matter what happens. You're my son, you're my blood. You're the best thing in my life. But until you start believing in yourself, you ain't gonna have a life. Don't forget to visit your mother.